Welcome back to the podcast where today I already know we're going to have an amazing conversation because the two women that we have here today are just not only a wealth of knowledge, but experience in business and what they have navigated. And they are both open books as far as sharing the ins and outs of that and what has got them to where they are today. So, as we jump in, let's start with some introductions so we can all get on the same page here and then dive into today's topic. So, Emily, tell us a little bit about you and what you do.
Oh, hello. Hey, everyone. I'm Emily. I'm the Canadian here today. You know.
Oh, no, 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 no.
Oh, no, no, no. I hear you have amazing candy there, though. So you can send me a basket. Thank you.
So I'm a wealth and abundance coach. Been coaching since 2015. So I serve women entrepreneurs who are looking to grow their business and their income and their impact. Or I actually just launched a new thing where I'm helping people who want to be business owners get themselves out into the world and get started. So that's me.
Awesome. Jasmine, how about you?
Hey, y'all. I'm Jasmine. I am from New York City originally, but I am living in North Carolina and I'm a speaker and a speaker consultant. So I help individuals who are professionals, executives, business owners who want to refine their presentation skills, who want to monetize their expertise, and we also can create their marketing assets for speaking.
Awesome. And, just out of curiosity on a personal note, at what point are you not allowed to say you're from somewhere? Because my husband says I can't say I'm from Jersey anymore because I've lived here for like 16 years. And I think that's kind of irrelevant.
Oh, if I didn't live in Newfoundland, like for like 50 years, I would still be like, I'm a Newfoundlander. Like,
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yes. You can't take away your culture. Like that is what made you who you are. And although I left for college and I live in a different state, I will always be a New Yorker
yeah.
every step of the way.
Like even how you just said I will always be a New Yorker, like was like a New Yorker who said that. Like,
Exactly. Okay. So I just wanted to prove that I was right here. Thank you so much for giving me that.
Yes,
Um,
got your back.
And today we are going to be talking about not just offers in your business, but the time that you had to let go of a profitable offer. And this is something that I thought made such a great topic because I feel like as business owners, we have things that work really well for us. And sometimes they don't work long term, right? So it may be situational where you really loved it, you went into it and it was working. And then you got to a point where, you know what? This just isn't it. I need to shift to something else. Or it may be a time where an offer never worked. It wasn't getting sales, it wasn't doing any of this. And I find that it's so much harder to let go of an offer that is making money in your business because there can be so much that comes up as far as either the people that you're serving and not wanting to quote unquote let somebody down by stopping an offer. It could just be from a financial standpoint of if your business needs that money right now and maybe something new isn't bringing in the revenue. There's a lot of different things that can come up. So I want to have this conversation because I know that you guys have both done so in your business. And I hope that anyone that is navigating this for themselves is able to listen, hear their story in you, and also see that, hey, this is something a lot of us navigate through, and you can come out on the other side. So, Jasmine, let's start with you. You had an offer in your business, it's making you money, and then one day something happened. Tell us about it.
Oh, man, and I'm still kind of fresh in it.
Mhm.
So I started my business in 2015, and I grew it through speaking and hosting events. And I wound up becoming very well known in my industry. I had corporate partnerships, I had events that were being sold, multiple events that I was doing, and other partnerships with other individuals, the events that I was putting together. And I decided that after 3 years, I said to myself, the struggle to get to six figures was not what I was meant to be doing. I felt like There's no reason. It didn't make quite sense to me why it felt like it was so hard to do the work that I was doing. Although I loved it, although I loved speaking, although I love hosting events, it didn't feel all the way aligned. And I also felt like there was more, I had a higher calling. I just could not put any pinpoint on what specifically that would be.
Mhm.
So I took a large leap of faith, not knowing what that would look like, just knowing that in that particular industry, I felt like my time was done.
Mhm.
People were not happy about it, especially the people that I partner with doing some event. I had people question me even after I made that decision to let that go. Um, they would question me, and even they would say, "Hey, you had such a great success in dentistry. Why aren't you still there?" Right? I would still get that. So there was a big calling within me that I cannot. Then I feel like this was the purpose that God had put on me to do, and I decided to go. I decided to just say, "That's it. Let me go get a job." Let me go get a job teaching, right? To give me a little bit of cushion to figure this out. I'm not going to eat. I remember asking you about it, and you gave me two options: cold turkey, or you ease yourself in. And I
Mhm.
said, I'm not going to ease myself in because I want to get out of this box and get to a place where I can serve the to serve in a larger way.
Mhm. Yes. And even throughout that decision, you had people in your DMs and your inbox and things like that asking for support and asking for help. And was that difficult for you to be like setting that boundary of, I see that money's coming in, right? Like people are willing to work with me, but I made that decision. Like cold turkey, I am done. So continuously reminding yourself of setting that for you, or it felt clean once you made the decision.
Absolutely. It felt still dirty. There'd be people like I had several groups, right? I had two different groups, and I remember when I was closing one of them, which was for mother dental hygienists, they were like, "Oh, I can help you out. I can, we can still make this work." You know, immediately I had that guilt, like, "Oh yeah, I can still do it." Or when I saw my other peers doing amazing things in the dental world, I was thinking to myself, "Oh, why did I let that go?" Now I'm having somebody else kind of come into the place that I was already holding space for. Now they're excelling and I'm letting that go. Am I sure? Especially when it was not really profitable like that, right? Like,
Mhm.
it was really checking for me when I left industry and when I left the offer that I had. And so I had to question myself, what the heck am I doing? Because the money is looking kind of scarce.
Mhm.
All right. A bunch of dust bunnies walking up and down here in my bank account, like, hey. Like, and I said to myself, like, why did I leave? There was times when I asked that. So I feel like there was a huge internal struggle and journey. And I had to really release my ego. That was a big thing. I had to release my ego expectations of what this would be like and quiet myself enough to see the next steps in the direction I had to go through. But that took a year and a half deciding to let the offer go. So why am I sharing the timeline? So in the midst of this right now, you may not have the answer right away. A whole bunch of mistakes, but please fail forward. We've heard that term over and over again. Please fail forward. For me, I had 3 launches. I also spent thousands of dollars, and I was like, it isn't working. And we can get into what worked for me, but I think that's the part that a lot of us give up too soon. And I was at the brink of giving up before I did that final decision of, okay, this is where I'm going to step into next.
Yes. And I think you hit on such a strong point here where just because you make the decision doesn't necessarily mean that everything works right away. Like, just like you originally built the business and networking and different things that you were doing, that built over time. And now you're seeing the results of that. So then when you cut that off, hey, the new thing needs some time to actually build depending on how big the shift is that you're making.
Mhm. Yeah. a big shift in industries, and
Yep.
no one
Absolutely.
knew. So there was still a whole new trust, like a no. I had to develop. I had to be fully, firmly convinced that I was enough, that I was already worthy and deserving to do this shift, and that it takes a huge measure of bravery to make the decision to change your offer if you don't feel like it's aligned. But I understand that there's nothing more beautiful than being aligned and honoring what your true calling is, and you can reap the biggest benefits financially, spiritually, emotionally, right? That's the part that's the legacy that we want to establish. That's what we're here, like, this is what we're here to do, right? And so I want y'all to know, if the dust buddies are looking like, hey, let's have a party, it's okay, right? Sometimes invest in having a coach, and that's what I did. I invested in Jessica. I invested in other programs to kind of help me figure out what this next step is going to be. And I did it even though I wasn't sure what the return on the investment would be. So I needed that safe space to be able to figure that out and align myself appropriately.
Yes. So, Emily, come on in. Let us know a little bit about what it looked like for you letting go of your offer. I'm curious if it's the offer I'm thinking about.
Membership?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oh my God. I'm like sitting back here listening to Jasmine. I'm like, yes, yes, yes. Like, so I was like taking notes and oh, I loved it. So before I even dive into my story, I want to comment on Jasmine's because like you were saying, Jasmine, like you got to follow that passion, you got to follow that calling. And just the other day, I was reading I don't even remember where I was reading this, but they said like, don't chase money, chase dreams, right? And I feel like business owners, it can be so easy to be like, how do I make money? Like I gotta pay the bills this month. Like I got the dust bunnies collecting dust over here, so it can be easy to look at the money. But in the long, like, yes, maybe that takes care of you short term, but in the long term, like waiting it out and like you said, Jasmine, like failing forward gets you the biggest return financially, spiritually, like all the things. Like, and even when you're saying Jasmine, like fail forward, I like to also say like faith forward because you had the faith, right? Of like, yes, this sucks right now, or like this doesn't make sense, but like I know that there's something else there for me, and I'm gonna wait it out. So it's like that faith. So I digress. Yes, so 2020 actually, right? This is after when the pandemic hit. You and I were working together at the time, Jess. I think I was in your mastermind at the time. Yeah. My membership I had for I think over 2 years at that time, and it was bringing in like nice consistent money. It was like somebody's annual salary. I think it was bringing in at the time like $5,000 ish a month, give or take. And so that's like 60 grand a year, which is like somebody's annual salary. And it was like easy work. Like show up, I do one coaching call a month, I do one workshop a month, had a Facebook group, like call it a day kind of thing. So like that's pretty good, like good return on your like time for what you get back out of it, like financially. But anyway, I just felt like this might be a bit dramatic, but like it was like sucking my soul. Like literally every month when it came around, I was just like, oh my God, like it was just kind of like those eye rolling moments when you log into the Facebook group. And this is by no means to say like I dislike my clients. I freaking love my clients. It was just how I was showing up for them and what was out of alignment for me. So June 2020, probably a time when a lot of people were in scarcity around money, especially. I was like, I've got to shut this down. And it had been on my heart for a little while, and it came as a bit of a surprise to my members. I had over 100, I think I had like 120 members at the time. And so I announced it, and it was just like cold turkey-ish, where I was like, next month is our last month. Like, if you're on an annual payment, your payments, I'm going to reimburse you the rest of your payments, all that kind of stuff. And some people were pretty upset, and they were like, "No, like, where are we gonna find you? Like, where are we gonna hang out?" And I'm like, "Well, like,
Not
if
here.
you right not here, yeah, if you want to hang out with me, like, I have these other offers." And the thing was that I felt like the membership actually wasn't serving them because I was allowing them to play small. Because from an investment point of view, it was a very small investment, which was on me, not on them. And they were getting a lot, and they were getting just enough to not invest further in themselves and not really take that big bold leap, because they could just get a little taste, take a little action, but like, as we know, like, sometimes you got to pay to play kind of thing, and like the paying gets you to show up. And so I knew there had been people in my membership for like since the beginning, so they were in there for a few years, and I'm like, if they just invested either, you know, in higher level coaching or private coaching with me at some capacity, like, they could freaking like excel with this. But they had just been like, you know, I got the membership, I got Emily there. So it, in the end, I think it was a win-win for everyone. Like, it was a win for me, it was a win for them. Many of them went on to work with me at a higher level, and take bolder steps. And as you probably remember, Jess, like, the very next month, I went on to do a launch of a group program, which was a higher investment. And that was my first ever 100K plus launch. So, like, there you go, right? Like, the universe was like, all right, we're going to take that away to give you the space and the energy to show up for what you're really passionate about. And it just felt so good on so many levels.
And
But
you
was
know,
it,
I
I was
even
gonna say, but
remember.
was it scary as hell? Yes.
Yes. And I remember the comments that were coming in because we were, chatting back and forth. And it is that, like, oh no, like, I really love this space. Or, this is one of the communities I connect to the most. And this, and it's like, okay. And Jasmine, I know you had that too, right? We'll help. Like, we'll do those things. And I get it as, like, just being a good human, right? We're all good humans. So, like, seeing that there's a part of you that goes like, I don't want to let them down, or I don't want to, like, I want them to have a space, right?
Yeah.
Like, I obviously created this from heart and passion, and like that I still have for my audience and for people. But this actually isn't a full service. And like you said, there we can get into a lot of the conversations around offers where, and this happens in high ticket a lot, where, okay, if they come in and they go, well, can I just have like this piece, or maybe I should break off this piece because it'll be a smaller offer. It's like, you could, but the question always becomes, do they actually need the bigger one to get a real result? So even if you could break it down, is it a full service? And when you started to realize, and sometimes you don't realize until you're in it, right? Like, you have to experiment. This is how offers always change. Once you're in it and you see, okay, how many people are actually taking action, how many people are using this almost like a crutch to not do the thing they need to do.
Yeah.
So now I'd love to kind of talk about the other side of this, because these are those moments, like Jasmine said, a year and a half. For some people, it's a month, right? The timeline is always different for other people, but the process is the same. And it takes so much trust. And I always talk about that feeling that I feel like we all have as business owners. It's like, I trust the process, full trust. And then you hit a day where you're like, but I would like the deadline of when this process is done, right? Like, please just give me the answer. And then when it's hindsight, you can laugh because you realize like what it was that you were doing. You're like, okay, I see, I see. So, Jasmine, let's talk about where you are now and when you really started to lean into, okay, I'm trying some different things. I'm going to see what's happening. And then you started to feel that hit, like the traction is happening. Okay, we're here.
So I want to give a little bit of context.
Mm-hmm.
It's taken me a little bit longer because when I created my business, it was so in person. I had very limited online. So 2020, we all know what happened then.
Nobody's
And I,
meeting anywhere.
right? I had my like last speaking gig in February, and so like all of the cushion I felt like I had planned to relaunch my new business were in person, cancel it all.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to learn how to navigate a new territory and make connections. I hated it. Who remembers In Living Color? Hated it. Okay. Absolutely hated it. So had to quickly, everything was not going to work, and that took a while. So I thought that I had to kind of deny my existence prior to about the fact that I was in dentistry. I didn't want to talk about the fact that I was a speaker. I was just grow your business is 6 figures, right? And that was a route to the gurus, listening to myself. And I had people whispering to me, like Jasmin, why don't you do speaking? I'm like, okay. I had people.
Why don't you do the thing that's easy, that you love and you are natural at? What if we do that?
I'm like, Jessica, go away. I don't always do my homework, y'all. I just want you to know that. But she loves me still. So then I had, business clients coming in for business consulting, but they look at their speaker abstract and to look at what they were doing for speaking. And I'm like, I'm talking like, why are you over here speaking, right? And whispers, and I feel like they were messages from God, in my opinion, on where I needed to be. And one incident happened to me when I was in my previous industry that kept me away from it. Someone gave me a hard time, charging them $500 to talk about speaking. And then they went to another consultant. Mind you, y'all, my programs start at like $8,000. $500 is what they said. They didn't go to me. They went to someone else that was charged. And I thought, this is a story I told myself, that no one would take a consultant as a woman of color, because I didn't see anyone that looked like me doing the work. Mm-hmm. Everyone was older, white individuals, and I felt like they trusted that more. So when I heard Jessica and I heard these other whispers and I saw these signs on top of my head that no one would hire, but and no coins.
I'm gonna listen now.
After 3 launches and no coins, one month I had made like $500. Another month I had made like $1,000. I'm like, this is not cute. I decided to launch ugly. I wrote everything on a y'all. Town. I went to town. Y'all can look at my feed when I change. All of a sudden I started speaking about speaking, right? Talking about my receipts and my journey. And I one person to join my group program. Just one person. And it said, do this. I was waiting for you to do this. And she joined. She was my one person that joined that program. To my speaker retreat, sold that out. Then one-on-one clients started coming in. Now I'm booked until August for my one-on-one. I just had a sold out. This was because I got aligned. And all stories dictate where I made more money than I did in my former business model. And I want y'all to understand, I just pitched someone $30K. Okay, like that was $500. And that was too much. Yeah, about 2-3 years ago. Right? So I want y'all to understand, like, there was a whole level up. I needed to go through my money mindset trauma. I needed to go get a therapist. I needed to work through the internal to get to my worthiness, right? To stand within my own gifts.
Yes.
Yes.
We are here for it.
Standing ovation.
Okay, the struggle. One day I'm gonna have a post. I'm gonna show y'all what it was looking like. Those bunnies at all.
Hindsight. In hindsight, you're like, whatever, it's whatever. In that moment, you're like, everything is ruined.
Yeah, and I'm dramatic. I'm like the one that's like, "Ugh!" talking like, why, God? Definitely.
I don't understand because like I'm not dramatic at all, so like I've never done that.
I just picture Jasmine being like the Kim Kardashian gif where she's like,
Yes. That is so me. And I'm telling you, every month, she's wonderful. She'll never tell you, but I am like Chicken Little. One little thing, the sky is about to fall. But that's my trauma response, and that's something I have to work through. I always feel like the rug is going to be pulled out of me. But entrepreneurship, it's a wild, wild west, and we want y'all to know, like, we're all figuring it out, right? And you'll know what your secret sauce. Just pause and just listen to what your people are asking you for. Listen to the whisper attention in your life. Listen and really become self-aware. There's a self that's necessary in order to stay in entrepreneurship. Become self-aware of. There have been so many signs prior to me having and being an entrepreneur that let me know at creating curriculum. I was excellent at reaching the hearts of people. When I would go out and speak, a room full of white women, y'all, and they would be boohooing, crying. Like, after I'm done, hugging me. How did they connect with me? This brown girl from Jamaica, because I understood how to reach the heart. That's the same strengths that I took into my program, but I wasn't aligned before. And recognize my gifts.
Yes. Oh my God. There's so many takeaways here. And it does come back to that extreme radical trust in, okay, these are my gifts, and those gifts aren't something that other people have. This is different. I have a different way of bringing it, and that's actually a beautiful thing, right? Like, I don't need to be like the other person, nor does anyone want me to be. They want me to be like me, which of course is going to attract the right people where you enjoy your clients and you enjoy working with them and serving them, because they don't just want to, you know, throw some words out there and hopefully they get some paid. It's like, no, we are creating transformations from the stage, and it's people that are looking for that, and that's a whole different type of person, which now makes your job easier, right? To be able to show up and you're more excited. So Emily, let's talk about where you are these days.
oh, I just loved listening to that. Like,
Right?
I keep taking notes because another thing, side note, as Jess, you know, and Jasmine, I'm a new mama. So, like, my brain forgets things very quick. Thought comes in, thought goes out. So I'm like, oh my God, I need to write that down before I forget. But I just want to say a few things. First is to Jasmine's point about like the alignment stuff, is like sometimes people forget that you got to go through the quote unquote like misalignment to get to the alignment. Like, it's not going to be smooth sailing. You jump from one thing to another. Like, allow yourself to go through the misalignment, which I think is where people go astray, is like, and Jasmine, I love how you're like, I just need one person to sign up for my course. Like, you put your ego aside because the ego hates that, right? And it was like, just need the one, because literally yesterday I was talking to a friend of mine who's an entrepreneur, and she wants to launch this new program. It feels super aligned for her. And she's like, but like, I've been stalling and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, you're forgetting about the one. And she was just kind of like, what do you mean? And I'm like, you just need one person. Like, that's how you start. And you got to allow yourself to be the beginner. And she's like, but I hate being the beginner because I've always been so good at blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I know. I'm not saying you got to be a beginner for long. I'm just saying you got to allow yourself to be willing to be the beginner just to start, right? Mm-hmm. Which is, yeah, humbling, and the ego hates it, but hey, what are you going to do? Yeah, so I never looked back since that decision of shutting down the membership. And I kind of have like a different angle on this topic today, which isn't necessarily like shutting down an offer, but changing an offer that you think had to be a certain way or should be a certain way because everyone else is doing it a certain way. Mm-hmm. And so, as I mentioned, I'm a new mom. I have a almost 6-month-old now. And doing private coaching isn't the same as it was before having a child. Like, being able to give my clients 110%, be on Voxer with them and all the back and forth and full on support. A lot more challenging when you have a 6-month-old crying and needing nap time and feeding and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And I just found that I couldn't be as present for my one-on-one clients as I wanted to be and as I was before. And I just gave myself this permission slip now of like, who says I need to give Voxer access? And so for those people listening, if they don't know Voxer, it's just basically like a walkie-talkie app, like a audio app or a texting app. Anyway, so that's like, I know the membership shut down, jumped into doing different offers, that kind of stuff. But like literally in this very moment, and I love what Jasmine's talking about, like get quiet and that kind of stuff, because I'm literally in that space now of like getting quiet with myself and being like, yes, I love what I do. I love coaching, but the way I'm doing it got to change because I don't have the space for Voxer anymore. I want to be on the session, and then when the session's done, like, I'll see you next session. But like, that's how I got to work now. And who says you have to do things with a Voxer and email access and a Facebook group and the blah, blah. Like a few years ago, everyone and their dog had a Facebook group. And then I feel like all of us got burnt out with that. And we're like, F this.
It was like an exodus in the online space where it was like everyone you knew shut down your group. And then I was like, well, I don't even want to shut down mine now because now it looks like I'm just following and I like rebel against that. So I'm like, well, I don't want to look like everyone else, but also I'm so over my group.
Right? Yeah. So I don't know if that completely answers your question, but I just like, that's what's in my life right now and in my business and on my heart is like, how do I want to serve people that serves them best and also like serves me best and the way that I want to do my life and business.
Yes,
can I add? I've really shared because I think that what we don't ask ourselves, a lot of us are coming in with a 9-to-5 mentality. Like we feel like there's a manual that we're gonna read. Job description is or what this business is going to be, and that is how it gets at. But we've created our businesses to improve our quality of life. And so when we're choosing offers, when we're choosing how we're going to put those offers in, that should be a primary dictator what our business is going to be modeled after, if that makes sense. So if that means more time with my family, if I want to be able to have more headspace, and people are going to, if you're fully convinced in your offer, they will be able to purchase that as well. In fact, one of the biggest lessons I learned also that was alignment with Emily shared was I felt like if I was going to raise my price in my offering, more of me, more meetings with me. Here's another template. Here's my right arm. Here's my left leg, right? Now it's justified. Right? Now it's justified. I can't walk, nor can I wait by you, but that's okay, right? We feel like more and more, and we don't think that, oh, wait a minute, the 2 hours with me is going to save you $1,000 or $100,000 or whatever. Just 2 hours with me is enough. Direct access to me. I still struggle with this sometimes too. So I think that was very powerful that Emily shared, because at the end of the day, what are we here to do? We're here to make generational changes. We're here to impact our love, impact our own lives. Like, and we can do that without affecting. For both of our examples, regardless of how we started, it was really about what kind of life do we want to lead in business and outside.
Yes. And really understanding that a profitable offer does mean that you let go of your quality of life in order to have it. It's an and game, not an or, right? So it's not like, okay, we make all of this money at the sacrifice of this. So even with tweaking your offers, and we're actually going through this behind the scenes where it's like, okay, looking at this, pulling this, and some of the things that came up was around the ego, right? So it's like, oh no, if I do that, what does this mean? What does this mean? It's like, it's going to mean whatever I make it mean, right? So if I make you're a horrible, whatever comes up, right? Like, you're a horrible person. Oh my God, you have to give both legs and this eye. It has to be this eye, right? Like, that's what the people want. And that's the only, then guess what? You're going to make it that you martyr yourself all the way out of business at that point, right? So understanding that your offers, like, they are going to evolve as you do, and or your lifestyle, right? You have different demands now than you had before, where it was a lot easier for you to Voxer because you had more free time. I'm in that position now, right? It would change. I'm sure it would if children, lifestyle, like just different things happen. So you have to give yourself permission to go, okay, it looks whatever way both serves my audience and serves me at the same time, right? Like we can do both. So I absolutely love this. I feel like we could talk forever just because it is such a big part of evolution in business, right? And giving yourself permission to let things change as they need to, whether it's pricing, it's access, all of that happens within your business. And it's okay that you have offers that maybe hanging out in the Google Drive because they serve their purpose for whatever they needed to, at that point. And all you can control is, hey, what am I doing forward? Where am I at now? And what is going to serve? So, number one, I'm so thankful for you both for sharing, for chatting. I knew this was going to be a great conversation with you both. And you did not disappoint at all. And what I would like to do as we wrap this up, we have this little game called Humans Being Humans, where I pick a card and you get to answer the question that comes up, and we get to learn a little bit more about you. So we are going to pop the first one. Let's see. Jasmine, would you rather be the most popular kid in school or the smartest kid in school?
Hmm. Chris. I
Tell me
rather
why.
be the
Now I gotta
smart.
know.
Because I'm gonna take that knowledge, go off, head off to college, whatever, and be able to leverage that knowledge that will make the greatest impact. The social scene in a school is a temporary experience, and I'm thinking about the long term. So I'd rather be the smartest kid.
Yes. And I'm sitting here reading this. I'm like, I wasn't either. Hmm. Damn it. I did have a lot of fun though. I had a lot of fun. Does that count?
I wasn't either. I wasn't. Yet somehow I made it.
Yes, exactly. Yay for being in the middle. We have made it. So, Emily, let's see. Do you have any superstitions?
oh, I feel like I do. But on the spot, I'm like, damn it, what are my superstitions? Um, I don't. Okay, no, I was gonna say I don't have it. I'll share this anyways. I don't have this, but a family friend has to go in and out of the same door they came in. So if they go through the back door of your house for whatever reason,
Mhm.
they have to go out the back door when they leave. So like if we're out in the
Interesting.
back deck, like, and they come around to the backyard and they come in and then we have dinner or whatever, later in the night when you're saying like goodbye and you would normally go through the front entrance, they're like, oh, like we got to go at the back door because like that's the door we came in. I'm like, that is strange.
And I feel like you're a nice person. I'm not as nice with family, so I'd like go run block the door and stuff. Yeah. I want to show you'll be okay. And this is why. This is why I don't have that close relationship.
But you know what? Funny you asked this because this literally flashed into my mind the other day randomly. I feel like I don't have superstitions because I felt like I couldn't because of this. So you know when I don't know if you guys heard this one, but like if you break a mirror or break glass, you have like bad luck for what is it
Yep.
like 7 years or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was a kid, probably like 7 years old, I accidentally broke a mirror in the bathroom and it like smashed everywhere. And somebody was like, you're going to have like bad luck for X many years. And I was like, no. So I was like, nope, not believing that one. Like, so I like refused to believe in any superstitions because like I didn't want to have bad luck the rest of my life. So that's probably why I don't have any.
Fair enough. Especially, I feel like if you were born in the 80s, you just got traumatized for fun, like through life. Like, they're just like, hey, you're going to be bad luck forever. Thanks.
Right?
Thanks.
Oh, I remember so many of them. I'm just not going to repeat them because I'm not manifesting any of that.
That's
Yeah,
right.
right?
I will tell you that living with my husband, we get a lot of sports ones. Like I hear a
Mm.
lot of the sports ones. So one is if I am not in the room when the game starts, I can't come in later because if they're winning, it will make them lose. So
Really?
like, or if I'm sitting there and they're winning, I better play on my phone because I can't get up. Because if I get up and leave the room, now they're gonna lose, and it's gonna be my fault.
Oh
See
my
that?
word.
Yeah, that stuff drives me nuts. My husband does that too.
Mhm.
Like I forget their team now, but whatever team was winning for a little while, they had to go back to the exact person's house they were at for any future games, sit in the exact same
Yep.
spot, and wear the exact same thing. I'm like,
Mhm.
this is ridiculous. You know, if you watch this game at home, it'll be the same result. He's like, nope, we got to go back to John's house, like wear the same thing. I'm like, and then they lost, of course, because I'm like, this is BS.
And you did not say like, how'd that work? Just say nothing. So I would love for you guys to each let everyone know where they can find you on the internet. Of course, we're going to link everything up in the show notes as well to make it easy for clickable. So Jasmine, let us know where we can find all of your incredible work.
Awesome. So you can find me at jasminhaley.com. I'm a Jasmine without an E. So JasminHaley.com. And you can find me on IG and LinkedIn and on Facebook at It's Jasmine Haley.
Awesome. And Emily, where can we find you?
You can find me at emilyking.ca, CA for the Canadian up here, and also .com was taken, so. So there's that. And on Instagram, it's the same, at emilyking.ca, same thing on Facebook, and there'll be some good freebies on my website there when you go visit. I'm actually creating some new ones, so maybe they'll be posted by the time this goes live.
Yes, awesome. Thank you both for being here, for sharing. You guys make sure you go connect with them, check out what they have going on. They both have incredible work. So I want to make sure that you are getting into their world, and we will be chatting soon.